Subscribe for the latest NBA news and watch till the end for the full story.
The Los Angeles Lakers have been one of the most active teams this offseason, but their work is far from over. Even after adding several new faces, Los Angeles still has significant roster needs to address before the start of the season. Much of that stems from losing multiple members of last year's starting lineup, and right now, one of the biggest priorities remaining on their checklist is adding another big man to strengthen their front court. To their credit, the Lakers didn't sit still. They traded for Walker Kessler, signed veteran big Kevin Looney, and also have Sandro Mamukelashvili who can play center in a pinch. On paper, that looks like front court depth, but when you look closer at what this team actually needs to compete in the Western Conference, those moves only scratch the surface. Kessler is a legitimate shot blocker, but his offensive game remains limited. Looney is a veteran presence and solid rebounder, but he's never been a player who changes the dynamic of a series. And Mamukelashvili is at best a backup option. The Lakers didn't lose one starter. They lost multiple pieces from last year's rotation, and what they've brought in simply doesn't replace that production at the level this franchise demands. The Athletic's Dan White put it plainly, the Lakers are still monitoring the market for big men. Team sources told The Athletic. They traded for Walker Kessler and signed Kevin Looney to play center, and Mamukelashvili can play the position too. The team could address the position either by trade or signing. Like with potentially adding Tybule, the roster is currently at full capacity. That last part matters. The roster is at full capacity, which means the Lakers cannot simply sign a free agent and call it a day. Any meaningful addition at this point requires a trade, which means giving something up. Artur Tybule has been mentioned as a potential target. Tybule is a wing defender. He doesn't solve the front court problem. The Lakers need size, physicality, and someone who can hold their own in the paint against the elite big men in this league. So the real question becomes, who is actually available that moves the needle? That's where Daniel Gafford enters the conversation. Gafford plays for the Dallas Mavericks, and he's not just any center. He was part of the Dallas squad that went all the way to the NBA Finals alongside Luka Doncic. That experience isn't trivial. Playing in the finals, defending against the league's best front courts, operating alongside one of the most demanding stars in the game. Gafford has done all of that, and now he's been available on the trade market for months. NBA insider Brett Siegel confirmed exactly that. He's been available all offseason. The reason Dallas is willing to move him comes down to their own front court evolution. The Mavericks' big rotation next season is shifting toward younger pieces. Derek Lively II, Morez Johnson Jr., and Moussa Cisse. With that trio coming into focus, Gafford's role in Dallas shrinks. He's too good to be a third-string option, but that's increasingly where he fits in their plans. Dallas knows this, and they've been shopping him accordingly. For the Lakers, the fit is almost too clean to ignore. Gafford is exactly the type of center that thrives next to a playmaker like Luka Doncic, a lob catcher, rim runner, and switchable defender who doesn't need the ball to be effective. The pick-and-roll chemistry between Gafford and Doncic is already established and proven at the highest level. There's no adjustment period, no learning curve on the offensive end. You drop Gafford into the Lakers lineup alongside Doncic, and he knows exactly what to do. His skill set addresses the precise gap in Los Angeles roster. He is elite at protecting the rim, finishing above the defense on alley-oops, and defending in the post. He's a two-way center in the truest sense, the kind of player who impacts the game on both ends without needing a massive role in the offense. Compared to what Kessler and Looney offer, Gafford is a clear upgrade in terms of athleticism, finishing ability, and playoff-tested experience. Now, here's the reality of what it would cost. NBA reporter Evan Sidery laid out the specifics. Mavericks' current asking price in a trade involving Daniel Gafford is a protected first-round pick. Gafford is under contract through 2029, making $18.1 million annually. Dallas's big rotation next season could end up being Derek Lively II, Morez Johnson Jr., and Moussa Cisse. Gafford is currently on a $54 million contract with the Mavericks, running through 2029 at $18.1 million per year. That is a real number the Lakers would need to absorb, and they can only do it by moving outgoing salary simultaneously. This is where the roster construction challenge becomes a puzzle. The Lakers have unwanted contracts they've been looking to shed. A Gafford trade could theoretically accomplish two things at once. It brings in a legitimate frontcourt upgrade while also clearing dead weight off the books. That kind of dual-purpose move is exactly what a team in Los Angeles' position needs to be pursuing. The protected first-round pick is the sticking point. First-round picks are currency in this league. They're how franchises rebuild, how teams make future moves, how organizations protect their long-term flexibility. Trading one for a center on an $18 million per year deal through 2029 is a significant commitment. The Lakers have to weigh that cost honestly. Is Gafford the missing piece that takes this team to the next level, or is he an expensive solution to a problem that could be addressed more cheaply elsewhere? That's where PJ Washington becomes an important part of this conversation. Washington is also a Dallas Maverick, and the Lakers have been linked to him as well. Here's the honest assessment of their roster needs. Los Angeles arguably has a greater need at power forward than at center. Kessler and Looney can at least fill the center spot in rotation. The power forward position, on the other hand, has a more obvious void. Washington is a versatile, switchable forward who can defend multiple positions, shoot from the perimeter, and contribute in the pick and roll as the roll man or the shooter. His offensive game is more polished in terms of floor stretching than Gafford's, and depending on the asking price, he could represent better value for what the Lakers actually need most. The question the Lakers front office has to answer is straightforward. Do you go after the center with the proven Doncic connection, or do you target the forward who fills a more critical positional gap? Could they pursue both? Possibly, but moving two rotation players from the same team in one summer would require a complex trade structure, and Dallas would need to be willing to go there. There are real obstacles beyond just the asking price. The Lakers are at full roster capacity. Every additional move requires subtraction first. Dallas is not in a rush. The Mavericks have leverage here because Gafford is under contract through 2029 at a reasonable rate. They don't have to accept a bad offer. Other teams are monitoring the market too, and if a third team swoops in with a better package, the Lakers could find themselves watching Gafford land elsewhere. This isn't a move that can be endlessly deliberated. The bottom line is this: the Lakers cannot stand pat on their current frontcourt situation. The Western Conference is loaded with teams that have elite big men and established frontcourt combinations. Competing in that environment with Kessler, Looney, and Mamukelashvili as the primary frontcourt options is not a formula for a deep playoff run. Gafford solves real problems. His NBA Finals experience, his established chemistry with Luka Doncic, his rim protection, and his finishing ability around the basket make him the most logical and impactful frontcourt target available right now. A protected first-round pick is a fair price for what Gafford brings. The Lakers are in a win-now window. They are not rebuilding. They are not developing prospects. They are trying to win a championship. Hoarding picks at the expense of a proven two-way center who already knows how to play next to their star makes no sense for where this franchise is. But if Dallas raises the price beyond a protected first, if they start asking for multiple picks or unprotected selections, then the calculus shifts. At that point, Washington at a more manageable cost becomes the smarter target. He fills the greater positional need, and he's a known commodity who has played meaningful minutes in high-stakes games. Either way, Los Angeles has to make a move up front. The offseason clock is ticking, the roster is full, and the competition in the West isn't getting easier. Gafford is the best available option that fits this team's timeline and style of play, and the Lakers know it.